if you hear me.
Today on the show, Goldberg is back and absolutely no one gives a fuck. Asuka returns and the boys are way too excited for my liking. More chaos in the King and Queen of the Ring qualifying matches, and Liv Morgan makes a brutal injury that might shake up the division for a while. This is Holler If You Hear Me, and welcome back to another Raw recap. I am your humble host Fraz, and joining me as always is the kayfabe assassin Mr. Andy Nero, and the ring historian himself, Dirty Dave. But guys, you know the drill by now. Smash that like button, share the video, and if you're new here, hit the subscribe so you never miss a week's worth of wrestling content that we love to put out. Now, gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into it. Raw. Green Bay.
Green Bay, Wisconsin. It wasn't Mr. Kennedy, so that was disappointing.
It wasn't. Where is he, Dave? Where's Mr. Kennedy?
Well, I think what happened is he went back in time to the first time Raw ever came from Green Bay, which was in '96, actually June '96, and Triple H for Ahmed Johnson, and he was so he's gone back in time to watch that match live.
Why would anyone waste their time and going back and watch? Why did anyone watch that live at the time? That sounds like drivel, miserable,
Ahmed Johnson,
hopelessness.
Pearl River Plunge.
Yeah.
I'd rather Pearl River plunge my own head into a floor.
I think it was the day. I actually think it was the day after the 1996 King of the Ring.
Oi.
So he just won the Intercontinental title.
Ahmed Johnson, yeah. Amazing ring music. Loved it. And that being said, cheap plug, if you haven't watched our latest video on our top 5 entrance themes, fucking get on our channel and go and watch it now.
I'll put a card up.
Yeah.
Why isn't actually? Oh my god! Yeah, Ahmed Johnson. Interesting. Right. Yeah. So no. Yeah, Green Bay. All right. Not the biggest arena, but it was full.
Crowd were into it. Crowd were okay.
Yeah.
Not the worst crowd.
Yeah. For
Midwest
what I thought was the worst Raw I've seen in a very long time. Complete and utter gutter.
That sounds
Why on
like
earth?
Mic drop.
Oi. Why on earth does anyone in 2025 want to see Goldberg come out and challenge Gunther for the fucking world title? Are you joking me?
Makes 0 sense.
Look, let me put it this way. The man has had 5 matches in like the last 5 years. He's lost 4 of them, and he's got the balls to come out, tell Gunther that he's a knobhead, and in Atlanta, you cussed out me and my family, and in Atlanta, we're going to finish it on July the 12th. Yeah? You're next, or whatever he said. The guy was profusely sweating before he even came out of the curtain. I thought he was going to have a cardiac arrest when he's in the ring with Gunther. And another thing, what gives him the right to challenge the Ring General, Gunther, when Jey Uso has got a rematch clause? Do we not do these things anymore?
Well, not only that, but you don't let him have his rematch clause, and you force him into the King of the Ring tournament.
It's preposterous. Yeah.
Excellent word.
Honestly, I'm vexed about Raw this week. I do not understand why WWE thought it'd be a great idea to bring back this fucking loser to fight Gunther when AEW have got their biggest card of the year. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. All In's their biggest show.
So if I've got a gun to my head and someone says you're going to watch Goldberg against Gunther or Kenny Omega and what's the other Japanese guy's name? Okada, yeah? Who I've never even heard. I'm going to watch Kenny Omega and Okada. I'm going to watch Jon Moxley and Hangman Page, is it?
Hangman Page, yeah.
And I'm not even into AEW, but I'll watch that because I don't want to see WWE do what they did to The Fiend about 3 or 4 years ago when Goldberg comes back and beats him. Even if Goldberg beats Gunther and Seth Rollins cashes in, why on earth would you take the title off Jey Uso the week before?
I agree with all of that, but you can't compare AEW's current card for their show to only one match that we know about Saturday night's main event. We don't know what else is going to happen on the show.
Well, I tell you what, Dave, it's got to be something fucking mad. Hulk Hogan is going to have a fucking tag team match and dig up bloody Randy Savage and Ultimate Warrior for me to think that's going to be a fucking good card. There is nothing that's...
Well, we only know one match so far. We don't know what Cena's going to do. We don't know what Cody's going to do. We don't know what Seth's going to do. We don't know what anyone's going to do. We actually know nothing about Saturday night's main event other than Goldberg and Gunther.
The only thing that would make me watch Saturday night's main event over watching Omega versus Okada, Ospreay and Swerve doing something against the Young Bucks, and Moxley and Hangman, in addition to Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné, for me to watch Saturday night's main event, Bret Hart would have to master necromancy and bring back Bill Pullman, Brian Pillman. Bill Pullman, he's an actor.
We could bring him back as well. He's dead, so you're right.
Brian
Yeah.
Pillman,
No,
Davey
is he?
Boy,
Maybe he's
Owen,
not.
and the Anvil, and reunite the fucking Hart Foundation to take out Shawn Michaels.
Well,
good. It's the
check
only thing that
out-
would make me watch that.
Check out our Twitter feed, Andy, because I have posted on there that it is the summer, the Canadian summer again, and it's an entire video about the Hart Foundation in 1997. I did it just for you.
Love it. Love it. No, Dave, I get what you're saying, right? We don't know what the card's going to be, but it's got to be something fucking monumentous. Surely you got to agree with that to compete. And look, if they're on at different times, I'll
you're
watch
going
it.
up. You'll go. Yeah, I mean, you're going up against the other company's WrestleMania. So, I mean, you know, there's an argument to say why are we even having a show, because some things you just let them have. You know,
Yeah.
it's not. You know, WWF didn't initially put anything against Starrcade. It put something near it. You know, it wasn't until like '88 when they put SummerSlam against a proper WCW show. You don't always have to do it. So I think it's a stupid decision anyway. I think putting Goldberg in actually gives him a get out of jail free card, because it dissolves responsibility from all of the current talent on the roster, because that's the drawing match, and if it doesn't draw, he gets all the blame. So it actually is quite a good deflection. It's like, well, you know, it was Goldberg's blah blah. We had to do it. We had to give him his retirement match because we promised it to him, and he got bitchy in a podcast about it and made us look like twats. So we done it for him. Didn't draw, so we're not doing it again. Cheers, bye. That's the out.
What you also have to remember is that the whole concept, the whole principle behind AEW, its starting principle was to be the alternative, to be the WCW to the WWE. A lot of the lapsed fans of WCW who didn't enjoy WWE stopped watching and then came back for AEW. Now, one of their stars is appearing as a main event in his last match on WWE programming. It makes you question whether you're going to watch AEW or not. Most AEW fans are obviously going to stick to AEW. The partisan fans of WWE will stick to WWE. The wrestling fans who like all wrestling, I would argue myself, I'm going to watch AEW. I'm going to bin off main event altogether, and it's going to be a very, very short show for me on when we review it.
I get that, but Saturday night's main event is all about nostalgia, isn't it? So it's a difficult one to pull for some of the modern fans that you'll lose. You're going to gain some of the older fans. It's already got that 80s feel to it. It does do fantastic numbers. It's on YouTube. It's free, and like you say, there are still some WCW fans out there. And if it is going to be his last match, it has got the opportunity to draw.
I just don't think it will. I think it won't. I really hope. I hope they get pie on their face. I genuinely do, because for counter booking for no reason.
Well, it shouldn't win.
Main event.
There's no reason it should win. You're booking a Saturday night's main event YouTube show against their version of WrestleMania. It's not like you're going WrestleMania for WrestleMania, so it shouldn't win. It shouldn't even be a discussion.
So why bother?
Well, yeah, that's the point. But at least they've got the out that they can blame Goldberg, and it doesn't make their current talent look bad.
I mean, WWE have done some things to us in the past where they've had us over a barrel, lubed it up real nice, and then shoved it straight in there to cause you serious pain. But this is for me near the top. I mean, I just do not understand the logic at all.
No, I don't.
They don't need to have a title match.
Shouldn't be a title match.
Didn't need to give Gunther the title. If they really just put the title on Gunther so they could have Goldberg versus Gunther for the title, and they haven't even announced this is a retirement match.
No.
I said to Dave before you came on, Andy, they might give him the title and then have them two wrestle at SummerSlam. SummerSlam's 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks after Saturday Night Main Event.
When's Night of Champions then?
Not this Saturday, but next.
So, what the hell?
Yeah, because Saturday night's main event is the 12th of July.
All of the scheduling at the moment for WWE is so crazy. It's like 2 weeks event, 2 weeks event. There's no time to build a story.
We said that on last SmackDown video, didn't we? Yeah.
It's just like, where's the opportunity to actually build a storyline or build anticipation or excitement for a payoff match? It's like...
Which goes back to my point about them, booking week by week as opposed to long stories.
Yeah.
Which, remember, long-term storytelling is what got most people back into wrestling in the last 5 years. Yeah. So they'd be wise to remember not to chuck that down the toilet.
Yeah.
Indeedy weedy. But we have spent a lot of time talking about Bill Goldberg.
The highlight of Raw.
I
mean, let's also just very quickly mention that he was so highly thought of, they put him on segment 3.
Which you didn't like, did you, Dave?
Well, that's just ridiculous. I mean, like, if you're going to do it, right, let's just be fair. If you're going to do it, you've got to go, no pun intended with AEW, but you've got to go all in, haven't you? You cannot, I mean, when is Goldberg on segment 3? That just doesn't make any sense.
Put him on first or last.
First or last. And the other thing is not just for him, but it devalues Gunther as well.
Yeah.
As much as I love Liv Morgan, and when she came out at the beginning of the show, got one of the best crowd reactions. I've got to be careful not to say pop, because it wasn't all cheers. She gets fantastic crowd reactions. Really good little promo to start the show off with. But realistically, that should have been Goldberg, shouldn't it? And Gunther. Your brand new World Heavyweight Champion, the first thing he does since he wins the title the previous week is he comes out in segment 3, barely says anything, gets interrupted by Goldberg, which should be for Gunther the biggest headline match of his career. Not the best match of his career, but it's the biggest headline match of his career. He's going up against WCW's version of Hulk Hogan. It's like, okay, I get that. That's a marquee match. You've got him in segment 3. What the hell are you talking about? It's ridiculous.
What are you perplexed about, Andy?
I just thought Hulk Hogan was WCW's version of Hulk Hogan.
No, he was Hollywood Hogan. He was never the same Hogan.
Being a dick.
But the problem is, Andy, it didn't work for him, brother.
It didn't work for him, brother. No, I definitely would have either had him on first or last, and not only that, but you had the big fucking pyro show for Gunther. Like you said, third. Like the pyro show should have been the first thing you see opening Raw. Gunther,
yeah,
Gunther. Boom, pyros.
Well,
he comes out holding the belt aloft, and it looks cool.
And
then the Goldberg thing, but like no pyro until third match. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, but you say that does go to show how much WWE think of Liv Morgan if they're putting in their opening segment.
Oh, yeah.
Can you remember the last time a woman actually opened up a show? Which is, well, we may as well talk about it. The injury.
She's obviously supposed to have been in something massive for Evolution, isn't she? And now we're going to see.
I don't think it's just Evolution, is it? It's massive. No, she's in so many storylines. Roxanne Perez. She was feuding with bloody Meechin and B-Fab. She's got this thing going on with Nikki Bella, Iyo Sky. Like they have put all their chips
Roxanne
in
Perez,
with Liv Morgan, and now she's got this injury, which I read some bullshit online about. Kyrie Sane or whatever. This is the second high-profile injury she's caused now. It was a freak accident, the first one,
both of them
with Zoe Starks, and this one was it's just how you fall when you're wrestling. Like it could have happened to anyone. It's just unfortunate. Now, hopefully, if she hasn't torn any ligaments, she's only going to be out for a few weeks, and we will see her at SummerSlam. I think Evolution's probably a bit of a optimistic view. But if she has and she's out for a few months, you can only imagine someone like Roxy is going to step into Liv's place. It could even be a Rhea Liv 2.0 where Dom's left by himself. Roxy he's all alone. Roxy comes in. Liv comes back as a face. after this shoulder injury.
Just quickly, Andy, sorry. I see that she might not miss any TV time. She just might not wrestle.
Yeah, I was about to say exactly that. I don't know why she can't have her arms strapped up and just not wrestle. Like, she can still appear on TV, still do all the bits for Daddy Dom at the ringside, especially next week against AJ, and be like, she just can't wrestle. She just can't move her arm, and she can't take bumps. Like, she can still do everything on the mic and all the character work she needs to do.
Give her more mic, more character work, and actually it can help her character. We've seen how injuries help characters sometimes because it gives them a chance to talk. She can come out and say, I'm so good, you know, I don't even need to wrestle. You know, I'm still going to be here. I'm not going to miss Evolution. I'm not going to miss King, Queen of the Ring. I'm not going to miss SummerSlam. Yeah.
That is if the injury is not that bad. If she has legit dislocated her shoulder and torn ligaments, she'll be out for a few months. That'll be painful as fuck. She's not going to be on TV.
No.
If she's on Raw next week and it's in a sling, it's not that bad, and she'll be back within a few weeks.
Yeah.
So
well, we can but hope.
On TV. But yeah, it was a shame. I thought the opening segment was a bit meh. She talked about Nikki Bella, and then she spoke about how she was a 4-time champ, so she was the best ever, which if you watch the women's qualifying match for the King of the Ring, they said that Raquel was actually a 5-time tag champ, so she's the greatest, not Liv, because Liv's only 4. Which I thought was weird. And then Iyo Sky coming out, I mean, again,
great crowd response.
Oh, fantastic, wasn't it? She's great in the ring, but it's the same with Asuka. Like, these women can go in the ring. I just wish they... And I've ripped you, Andy, for this, about them speaking English properly. You know, like you're talking about Stephanie Vaquer the other week. Asuka, they say the fire has not gone out. It is alive. Asuka is here. And I'm like... Yeah, doesn't do it for me. Doesn't sell it.
No,
and I know that Asuka obviously was a killer back in the day, but I'm still tarnished from, you know, the before she got injured, the whole tag team stuff with Damage Control. I don't know. There's too many women in the division that deserve the spotlight more than she does.
Asuka has not felt the same since WrestleMania 34.
Asuka.
When she do I mean 34? Whenever she lost to Charlotte.
When she lost to Charlotte.
As soon as Charlotte buried her, and there is no other word for it, buried her.
She didn't. It was a great match.
She fucking buried her.
It was a great match.
Buried
no,
her.
it isn't. She didn't bury her.
Okay, buried her. Carry on.
As soon as Charlotte buried her, she's not felt as special or as intense or as unbeatable as she was prior to it. And the fact is that she's never been able to get that spark back. Now, regarding the language barrier, is it weird to say? I get that there is a language barrier, but you can go to any country. Like, we can go to any country in the world, and if we learn the language within a short period of time, we might sound a bit off. But I can learn Spanish and I can word out some Spanish. I can go to France and sound French. Japanese people, and this isn't me being racist, sound like they can't master English without it sounding really broken. But
I don't know, you just sound racist there.
But it just seems like they're like Shinsuke's been in the US for like nearly a decade, and he still doesn't seem like he's completely got English down. Asuka, same period of time, still doesn't sound like she's got English down. Whereas, you know, people like, I don't know, I can't think of any. Andrade, so it doesn't seem like he's got English down, but Alberto certainly had English down perfectly fine. Ray has English down perfectly fine.
Yeah, but like Spanish is a really well-spoken language in the south of America, isn't it? Like Texas and San Diego. Like, the closer you get to the border, they speak Spanish and English. It's an easy switch. Japan or Japanese or Chinese, no one speaks that in America, do they?
No, and admittedly, I don't know enough about the language
and
the formulating of the language, because I know it's a lot more like Russian than it is English. but like Russian is quite a hard language to transfer from one to an English or a Western style of talking. So maybe there's a problem, not problem, but like an adjustment to be made there. But people do it, and I just find it very strange. I'm not throwing shade at anyone in Japan or China or anyone. I'm not wanting to sound racist. If it does, I apologise. It's not my intention, but it just seems odd to me that there's still a language barrier for people that have been there for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, my point is that it just doesn't help them get over when they have a really good match, and then afterwards I'm like, that was good. Yeah, she's won, and it made sense. I did think Steph was going to win, but Asuka's back. As Dave said to me offline, you're not going to get a comeback return. Great entrance, cool mask, new face paint, looked killer, and then have a lose, and then afterwards cut a piss poor promo.
Yeah.
All it is just
wasn't it?
unfortunate. It's just unfortunate, which is why I'm saying, like, don't have her win Queen of the Ring.
I don't think she will.
Win.
Yeah, she'll be in there to put someone over. You know, that's
Who has she got? She's got. Who's she got?
It's Mangill, Roxy,
so she'll have
Alexa Bliss,
Alexa,
and
Oh.
Asuka. Yeah. I don't think she needs it, but I have said I think Mangill will win.
Yeah.
I thought it would be Mangill and Charlotte, but they obviously chose to go with Alexa. I think it will be Mangill, Naomi, and Bianca at SummerSlam.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, then someone's got to lose the women's title, then, haven't they? Tiffy.
Yeah, I think she'll cash in on Tiffy. I don't think Tiff will be the champ by SummerSlam. I think Nia Jax will destroy Tiffy at Evolution. Tiffy will still win. Naomi will come out, cash in. SummerSlam. We've got the triple threat we want. All makes sense.
Fair. 100%.
All makes sense, because you want a big talking point from Evolution, especially if they were going to have Liv and Iyo Sky go over as the main event, which is not going to happen now, probably. In fact, most likely. So Iyo will have some sort of.
Well, we don't
match.
know. We don't know.
I reckon Roxy will lose. She'll then team up with Raquel Rodriguez. They'll be tag champs. It's a bit like, she's getting in Liv's shoes. She'll take the belt. She'll take her man. Liv will come back as a face. Roxy and Raquel will fight Rhea and, I don't know, Iyo Sky maybe at Evolution. And then it'll be Tiffy and Nia Jax for the title. Nia Jax will destroy Tiffy. Tiffy will win somehow. Naomi will come in, cash in. There you go. Booked. How about that for a take? Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, completely. I think so.
I'm waiting for Dave to cut some holes in this. We talk about how great Corey Graves was.
Oh, so much better on commentary.
He was good, wasn't he?
Yep, he gets a lot of hate. He gets a lot of shade from the IWC for no reason, for what I can tell. I think he's brilliant.
Toys out of the pram, wasn't it? But he is a better analyst than he is, main lead play-by-play guy. So, which is better. I didn't think he was good when he was lead. He can't be as natural. Yeah,
him and Cole have got massive chemistry as well, though. Like, they've got good chemistry.
Well, I just think he plays that role better.
Yeah.
Well, he's good. And he was very good at avoiding Sami Zayn getting gorilla pressed by Bron Breakker in the main event.
He was.
Which is a nice segue into the main event, which was my favourite part of the show. I thought it was the only thing that I spoke passionately about in a positive manner was Rusev and Sheamus. I love the fact that they did not care that Bronson Reed and Jey Uso were in the match. They were just killing each other, which makes even more sense as to why they didn't just have Sheamus fight Rusev when he first came back. I think Sheamus might have been injured possibly, but it was just brilliant. There was at one point where they were punching each other. Bronson splashes,
took him out,
and then
they just got up and carried on.
They got up and carried on, beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
Sheamus looked fucking brilliant. I mean, some of the knees and the kicks, and Rusev just looked like a killer. Jey Uso took a massive beating in that match.
That was a stiff match.
I didn't like Bronson taking the pin, though.
Oh, it was always going to be the case. If Jey was going over, it had to be Bronson. You weren't going to have Rusev or Sheamus lose, because then they lose their aura going forward for their feud.
Yeah, and I think there's a potential 6-man coming there, isn't there? We're going to have Cody, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins' little faction. Whether that's at Night of Champions, depending on how the King of the Ring tournament goes, or whether that's Saturday night's main event. But I would suspect that's coming.
Well,
but then LA Knight's got to be involved as well.
Well, why not have why did Bron Breakker not get pinned and Bronson did? Like, it just makes him look weak.
But they're all getting one up over each other, aren't they? So I suppose it's got to balance out otherwise.
And Jey has had the shit kicked out of him by Bronson recently, so it gets that win back, as it were.
I mean, I agree. I wouldn't have had Bronson.
Probably just have Sheamus take the pin. It wouldn't hurt him. Him and Rusev are going to feud. They're not main event. Bronson Reed is trying to be portrayed as like a killer. I know it didn't hurt him so much because it was a spear and a couple of tsunamis, but it's just, for me, like...
I mean, there was mass outside. There was mass outside interference. I mean, it was carnage. I mean, it turned into a battle royal, really, didn't it? So,
but again, proves my point as to why, like, you're saying he needed to get one up on Jey Uso, but LA Knight got the one up off him when he did he throw him off the top? Did he push him off the top rope?
That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of tit for tat within 3 or 4 different people involved with that group. Depending on how the King of the Ring tournament goes, it could be LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Sami Zayn against those 3. It could be Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Sami Zayn against those 3. But a 6-man, I think, is coming, or 8-man if we get a 4th man.
So let's talk about the King of the Ring for a second. So our semi-finals for the men are Randy and Sammy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Cody
this Friday.
Yeah. Who's turning heel? Because at the moment we've got 2 faces and 2 faces.
No.
Someone's going to have to be a heel here.
No one.
You don't think Randy might turn on Sammy? Sammy might turn on Randy?
No,
not yet.
Because they're 2 heel champions, so...
Yeah, not yet. Someone will snap.
Lose.
Sammy will snap at some point when he doesn't, because he's talking about this title match like he's never talked about titles before, and so that he's going to get close again and lose again, and then he'll snap, and then that will go to this whole thing with him and Karrion Kross. When that happens, I don't think it's going to happen as early as this week on SmackDown.
Look, there is the reason I love the fact that all 4 are in the semi-finals is because there is a great narrative to be told
For each one of them.
each one. Right, Randy's chasing immortality with this 15 after Cena. Sammy's worked his arse off for 20 years. Cody's trying to save wrestling, and Jay's coming back from his maiden title. Mm-hmm. Now, the obvious scenario is what I've said all along. Cody is going to win, right? And he'll fight. I did think it was going to be Sammy because they're in Saudi and they love him. Cody will beat Cena and Seth will cash in on Cody. That's how I think it's going to go.
Yeah, because that's starting to happen. And so Randy beat Randy and Cody in the final?
But see, that makes sense, doesn't it, in terms of, the master versus the student, they're brothers, etc. But then the way TKO and WWE are, you want Sammy over in Saudi because the crowd are going to be fucking white hot for him, aren't they?
So that's the 6-man then. Sammy, LA Knight and Jey Uso versus Seth, Braun and Bronson. Possibly. And then again he loses then, and then he snaps again. So for losing the King of the Ring and then losing the 6-man maybe.
That's if they're going to do the whole Sammy snapping thing. Like we're talking about.
That's just my take. That's just my take.
Yeah. We're talking about Karrion Kross, who gets 20 seconds of TV time once every few weeks. I know he's super over, and we all want to see him on TV. But is it enough for them to make Sammy snap? Like, I don't know. I think that if Sammy does get in the final when he plays Jey, I think he'll win. If it's Cody, he'll lose. But if he fights Jey Uso, I think he will win. Because I think when you're fighting, They're brothers, isn't they? Oos. My thing is with Sammy is that he'll do something that Karrion Kross has been telling him. You know, you need to tap into this dark side.
Killer edge.
And you need that when you're fighting someone you love. And it might go a little bit over the top to get this title shot.
Yeah, that could work.
Against Gunther.
I definitely think
Goldberg.
someone's got to turn heel soon, because I agree with Andy that there is a plethora of faces, and if we balance any of the titles out and have one of the face champions, I think we need another heel. So it's coming. It could be Orton turning on Cody, or it could be Sami Zayn. And yeah, we've just got different takes on how we think that might happen.
Didn't time fly? Because I remember, I think it was our first ever video, or maybe the second week, I think I remember saying that there is a dearth of heels at the top at the minute. Or there's no faces, and all of a sudden we're inundated with faces all of a sudden. So bizarre how time swings.
Absolutely. But then I'll go back to what I said to Dave. If John Cena didn't turn heel, imagine the matches that he'd have. Like... Seth Rollins would arguably is the biggest heel in the business at the moment, along with Gunther. They're like, that doesn't sell as much as
Cena being
being a heel, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, you know, AJ Styles. There are so many faces that he can fight.
Yep.
In his farewell tour. So yeah, I mean, someone's turning heel, but I still think it will be a Cody victory. I think Cody will beat Jey. I don't think Jey's obviously not turning heel, is he? And Sammy will probably beat Randy, just purely because of the Saudi thing.
Speaking of turns, sorry to change tack slightly. I just remembered another thing I saw in another note I made. The Bayley and Becky promo I thought was actually half decent, and there was a little something afterwards with Lyra, who was acting a little bit of a heel. I quite liked that, and I'm not sure. I'm not going to come out and predict and throw all my money behind the idea of a Lyra Becky team up, but she was being a bit of a bitch to poor old Bayley afterwards.
Well, hot take. I thought Bayley was fucking awful.
No, we're not allowed to say bad things about Bayley.
No, her bottom was fantastic, and she looks great. But I said to Dave, she's just, as a face, she's just not over. She was begging the crowd to chant her name, to sing her song, and in the end, they felt sorry for her and started chanting Bayley. And then even when she was in the ring and she was cutting that promo and. What was it? I can't even remember what she was saying now. Oh, do you know what it feels like to not have anything and to struggle? And then she was like, do you know what it feels like to have gold? This has been a while. Becky was quality. Becky was great. Yeah. Becky was great. I thought Bayley was poor. Bayley's so much better as a heel. I agree with you on the Lyra turn. I thought exactly the same thing. It wouldn't surprise me if she cost Bayley the match. But maybe that inadvertently turns her heel and they have a triple threat at Evolution.
See, my hot take is still that I think that the veterans are in this together and it's a setup.
I wouldn't hate seeing, to be honest with you, with Charlotte on her downturn in fortunes, in terms of the fact that she hasn't won a match since she's been back, I don't think. I wouldn't hate the idea that Charlotte, Becky and Bayley all team up as the old guard, almost like you think our time is up. Our time isn't up. You know, we're still here and we're going to make sure that things are done right. You know, almost like mirroring the Death Riders storyline from AEW, which is to say we're going to lead the division in this direction and this is this is how it's going to go, rather than letting all these new kids and Roxy and Steph and everyone just rule the roost.
And similar to Cena, isn't it? You know, he's still old guard, still got something to offer.
Yeah.
But can put people over. But I mean, we'll see. I think the fact that the Intercontinental title match is so early, the fact that Bayley got the match so early, it's next week on Raw, so it's not being used at Night of Champions, it's not being used at Saturday night's main event, it's not being used at Evolution. So I think that the only reason that story is progressing so fast is because it's not the real story. There's still a lot more to come. So yeah, and I'm not convinced because Bayley is not over as a face at all.
Why don't we just quickly touch on AJ Styles, Dirty Dom, Night of Champs, Intercontinental Championship match.
It's official.
I do think that is what Dom needs. He needs,
a big win over a big person.
A future Hall of Famer, a main eventer. Someone as good as AJ to put him over. I don't think that Dom is going to lose that match. I think it'll be a great match. I do love it. I'd love to see. Again, I'm fucking talking about Goldberg, and I said no one gives a fuck. But AJ against Gunther. What the fuck? I mean, we all moaned that Gunther never fought anyone decent in his first reign. Don't have AJ in a program with Dirty Dom. Have him fighting Gunther.
Yep.
But that being said, I am super stoked that
him
and Dom are getting in the ring, and it's what Dom needs to. He really needs to have some quality matches before he takes that next step up.
Yeah,
100%. Finn Balor stirring the pot with Judgment Day again. Loving that. It just needs to happen now, right?
Who's playing who?
I don't know, but. Either way, I'm all for it. It just needs to happen this side of SummerSlam.
So the problem that I found
possibly.
with Hunter's booking recently, and I don't know if you guys recognise this, he seems really behoved to actually pull the trigger on anything. So there was a period last year where the Street Profits were on the verge of breaking up. A-Town Down Under have been teasing a split for God knows how long, about 18 months now. This Finn Balor Judgment Day thing has been rolling on almost since Damian Priest left. It's like, when is he actually ever going to pull the trigger on something to happen? LA Knight never pulled the trigger on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems like he's not willing to pull the trigger on these things. And the time is of the essence with some of it. Time is a real factor. And I think this is one of them. Because it's the last one that he can really do. Judgment Day needs to happen.
I mean, yeah, in some ways, but in other ways, no. I mean, one of your first examples, the Street Profits, and now they're the tag champs, and they're awesome. So it just depends. It just depends. Pulling the trigger, I think, on Jey at the Rumble was the right thing to do. I think giving Dom the Intercontinental title was the right thing to do. I think it's subjective, isn't it? It's always going to be 50-50, and some of these decisions could quite easily not happen. And they could reinforce and reinvigorate, say, Judgment Day, for example. It could all be a ploy to get one of the girls out, and actually all the boys are fine, and really get them back on track again. So there's several ways it can go. It doesn't always have to go the obvious way. I don't mind. Last year's Judgment Day split was SummerSlam. We've got a few weeks. See what happens. Get this Intercontinental title match. That's going to be a big tell at Night of Champions. How much Judgment Day interference, and who might accidentally cost someone the match. Might not lose the title, but might lose the match. Don't know. I think Finn might try something and it'll backfire, and Dom will still get the win. But Dom will be like, "Yeah, but that was for me," and then it could all go crazy, couldn't it? But I still think the women have got a big part to play in this Judgment Day scenario.
Yeah, I guess I'm just impatient, and I would like to see stuff happen. I'm with Andy a bit on that. Not necessarily about Triple H pulling the trigger, but just there are a lot of stale, sort of teetering feuds where you're like, this will be awesome. Austin Theory, why is he not face? I mean, I've mentioned on the show several times, his Instagram account is highly inspirational to me, even though I've got bitch tits and I'm getting fat. But he is incredible. John Cena put 2.0, but much, much better. Just do it already. Judgment Day, I'm sick and tired of seeing Finn and Dom have this sort of power play. Let's just get it over with so we can have a quality match at SummerSlam.
That could be it. Yeah, that could be it.
Other than that, I thought Raw was poor, despite us talking about it for 40 minutes.
Passionately poor.
Passionately poor indeed, gentlemen. Well, unless you have any other takes, I'm going to sign us off.
Do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much if you have reached the end of this video. We appreciate all your support. Love you long time, as Oscar would say. And I will speak to you, and so will Andy, and so will David on our next video. Adios, amigos. Arigato.